about 10 minutes. If we go back about 300 million years, up on the surface there was a warm, shallow sea. And in this shallow sea there lived a lot of plants, a lot of animals. There was a lot of sand and silt and mud that was being brought down by the Michigan River that was flowing through here at one time. Now, little did all the plants and animals know that about 300 million years later, you would be walking through them, calling it the Mammoth Cave. Now, this shallow sea starts to dry up. It starts to disappear. But the plants, the animals, all that sand and silt are left behind, and they lay down the foundation for our cave. What kind of rock is all this? Limestone. Very good. Limestone. These eventually transform into the limestone rock. So they laid down these layers. And these layers of limestone is the foundation for our cave. Now what happens now is a shallow river starts to appear. This shallow river finds a little crack, a little crevice in this limestone rock. With the weak form or carbonic acid, it starts to slowly eat away at that crack. That crack starts to grow larger until we start to get these underground rivers. Today we are walking through a dried up underground riverbed today. Now, a question for you. I mentioned carbonic acid. Did anybody, when we made our stop at the Snowball dining room, possibly have any carbonic acid with your lunch today? Soda. If you had a Coke, Diet Coke, or maybe a Mellow Yellow or Sprite, had some carbonic acid. The only thing is that carbonic acid that you drank with your lunch today is about 1,000 times more powerful than what created Mammoth Cave. Think about that the next time you drink one. Also, on my tours, I always like to give you some information, but I like to give you some tips to help you live a healthy lifestyle. Just little things that kind of help you out a little bit. You got to be careful, folks. And don't drink too many of those carbonic acids, because if you drink too many of them, you will start to get a cavity. I didn't say they were funny. But honestly, this carbonic acid, this weak form of acid and the water starts to open up these passageways. So what happens now is we've got water flowing through here, carving all this out. This water may start to find another crack, another little crevice. It starts to slowly eat away at that, and then this water starts to disappear. Now, as we start to make our way on through the cave, you're going to start seeing a lot of rock piles, a lot of rock piled around. We like to call this breakdown. There are some people that call that cave-in. I don't like those words, especially down here. So we call that breakdown. And what happened there is when the water was in some of these canyons, it maybe only went up so far, so high. And these rocks would have been up on the walls and the ceiling of the cave. The water actually held these rocks in place as such as a foundation. The water starts to leave. The rocks have no longer nothing to hold them in place. They start to break down. As we go up and walk up Mount McKinley and Arrow Bridge on our tour today, we are walking up and down breakdown. And you'll see a lot of this as we make our way through the rest of our tour today. Now the water is still in the cave. It's at the Echo River, about 365 to 70 feet below the surface. So that water's still here. It's just not in these areas any longer. We have 5 levels of cave. Level 1 is surface. And then we're hanging out on this tour today, kind of between level 2 and 3 today. And then, of course, level 5 would be where the river is. Now, I'm asked a lot of times on tours, Mammoth Cave is dry. Why is it so dry in here? There should be water dripping in this cave. Why is that not the case? Well, again, this is all limestone around us. But on top of the limestone, we have a cap of sandstone and shale. If you drive through our park, you'll see a grayish rock sticking out of the ground. That is the limestone. But on top of that rock, you'll see a brownish rock. That is the sandstone. So that is a roof over top our cave that keeps it dry. That's why Mammoth Cave is so unique with these big dry passageways. Now, we get leaks in the roof every once in a while. We passed a place called Thorpe's Pit a little while ago. You probably heard and saw some water. What probably happened there is possibly a sinkhole collapse. We live in a part of Kentucky called the land of 1,000 sinkholes. Drive outside the park, you'll see a big cornfield with a bunch of trees growing up out of the middle of it. There's a sinkhole. And all those sinkholes drain into the cave. So we do have places like that some in places. Now I have a farm just right outside the boundary of the park. I live about 7 minutes from here, and in my front yard, I've got a great big front yard. I had a sinkhole open up about 2 years ago, about the size of my hat. It's this big now. When I mow, I have to mow around it. And I tell my wife all the time, when I mow every week, to kind of keep an eye out there for me. If I disappear, come looking for me. Because every time it rains, it keeps getting bigger. So, and who knows, I may have a connection to Mammoth Cave going on there. I told my wife that one day. I said, we might get rich someday. And then she said, yeah, but a good park ranger would donate that land to the cave if we found it. So she got me on that one. So, but again, the unique thing of the cave is that roof we have, and it keeps everything dry. Now, we will see some changes as we go to the latter part of our tour today, and I'll talk about that more when we get there. But again, folks, I could talk to you for days about the geology. We have two prime ingredients. We have the limestone rock and the water, and that's basically what made the cave. It just took millions of years to do that. Questions? Any questions you may have? Any questions? Now, I will mention a little earlier, someone had asked me about animals in the cave. And usually at this spot right here, if my crickets are cooperating, there should be, there's the cave cricket. They always know what time we're going to be. And that's the only one I really see. But you got to see one anyway. There's usually more than that. But anyway, the cave crickets, again, we've walked past a lot of those and haven't even seen them. That cave crickets actually go outside. They go outside and eat every couple of weeks and come back in the cave. So before we go, any questions?
Where are the bats?
Well, we have bats in the cave. We don't have a lot of bats, but the bats have learned where we are. They've learned where the tours are. I like to say, imagine tonight about 3 o'clock and you're sound, sleep in your bed, you've got the covers pulled up tight around your ears, and I come into your bedroom with a camera, and I start flashing that thing in your face. You're probably going to go hide. So they've learned where we are, and they go to deeper parts of the cave. We make too much noise and flash cameras and all that kind of stuff. So. Well, folks, the easy part is about to come to an end. Walked on the easy stuff. When I meet up with you again, it will be at the top of Mount McKinley. And that's going to be one of our first big climbs that we walk up. And when I get to Mount McKinley, from there we're going to start talking about the ownership of the cave, where it changed in the 1920s. So if everybody's ready, I will meet you at the top of Mount McKinley.